I watched so many of these how to make 2025 your year. Here are my top tips. Let's go back to our vision board for 2024 if you have that and take a look. What did you achieve and what did you not achieve yet, or what is just not as important to you anymore? And from there, we work our way to our 2025 vision board. I would love to do this with you right now, but I have a vision board session in person in the beginning of January. And so I will not be doing it right now, but I'm sure that I will find a way to show it to you in an upcoming video or at least on Instagram. And with that, hello everybody, welcome back to Big Sister Chats. This is the corner of the internet where I pretend to be your oldest sibling and give you some life advice, but also any sort of knowledge that I gathered in my life so far. So normally I would tell you to grab a tea or a coffee or whatever, cook, bake, clean, do whatever you like while you watch or listen to this video. But today it would be really good for you to work along. So you can either grab your notebook or your physical journal, or probably both. I will do this with both of them for sure. And then we can get started. So in the beginning, I think it's really important that we do a life audit. For this, in your notebook, you can use 2 pages, and on one side we'll list all the positive things that have worked well this year and things that you liked and enjoyed, just everything positive. And on the other side, we will gather all the not so positive, maybe even negative things that have happened so far. So you can either do this by just thinking about it, or maybe you even want to take out your calendar and look back at all the meetings and appointments and whatever you had scheduled in 2024, and then see how they make you feel. Let's take an easy example. Say you have family dinner every other week on Wednesday. Now, when you're reading this, you could either be feeling like, oh, this is so amazing, I get to spend time with my family, and this is one of my most important times of the week. Then for sure, this goes on to the positive side. But let's say all you can think about is how stressful that is and how many hours you're there and you have to go buy the food and cook the food and somehow it's never really that fulfilling. Then maybe this is more stressful and negative for you and you want to add it to the other side. Things you can include in your list are not only activities but maybe also people. Maybe you've made new friends and you want to prioritize time with them in the new year. Or maybe you see that some friendships just do not work out anymore, or there's other kinds of relationships in your life that are just not fitting anymore. And it's good to have that written down for 2025. Now what I want you to do is group that into categories or sort of feelings or themes, whatever you want to call them. So maybe on the positive side for me would be going to the gym and dance classes and Pilates. So all in all, I would say movement or physical health is something that I would definitely want to prioritize again in 2025. Once you have your categories, you can then pick the top 20%. For the positive things in your life, try to schedule in the good stuff. So if I know I want to take a lot of dance classes next year, then I should probably get a membership at my local dance center. Then I know every Wednesday evening I'm gonna go to dance class, and that's super fun for me. On the other side, again with the top 20%, create a not to-do list. Let's say on my top 20% of negative things. There's like in-person coffee dates with some of my coworkers and they just don't fit into my schedule anymore, then I will probably not go anymore. Or maybe I really love podcasting, but I hate the audio editing part. So maybe what I should do for the new year is keep on creating podcasts, but outsource the editing. If it is that stressful and negative for me, chances are that I will quit the podcast. So I would rather have somebody else cut the podcast for me and keep on doing it and invest my time into, let's say, creating new episodes, and then instead of every 2 weeks, there will be an episode every week. So that's the kind of approach we want to take. And don't get me wrong, you cannot just outsource or cancel every bad emotion in your life. Like, let's say you got sick a lot in 2024. That's not something that you can per se change so easily or predict or anything for 2025. Of course, if you take precautions, eat healthy, sleep well, prioritize all the good things, it's much less likely for you to get sick. But all in all, we gotta be realistic with the good stuff and the not to-do list. Then there's something I want to introduce you to. It's called a wheel of life. I did that in summer actually. It was really, really fun. You just rank yourself in all these different life categories, and then you rank where you would like to be, either in 5 years from now, or in 3 years from now, or even next year at the same time. Just don't expect too big jumps in 1 year, but you could be working on some things and prioritize some things, and then it could jump a few points. So why not? In these different categories, I like to ask myself, what have I learned? Like for each separate one, what has 2024 taught me in these categories? And again, I want to pick like 2 to 3 where I want to focus on in 2025. There's a crow sitting just outside my window. It's really interesting to watch. Okay, and now we will go into the planning portion. So, first thing we want to ask ourselves is, who do I want to be next year? You could do that as an like overall overview of your life. Let's say today in a year, I want to be this person who wakes up early every day. She is a part-time social media creator and she loves to go to dance classes and Pilates. That's one way how to do it. Or you could do a day in a life, which I think is really fun. Like, just imagine your future self, like write into your journal a present tense story about just one day in your life. Like, imagine I get up at 5 in the morning, my alarm rings and I don't put it on snooze. I get up and I take a shower, and then first thing I do is I go to the gym, and after that I go to my favorite coffee shop and work on my newest podcast episode. I'm writing the script in the morning because I know tomorrow I'll record the newest episode, and in the evening I have a business call scheduled with my partner and we're gonna work on the newest brand deals, and so on and so forth. You know how it goes. If you struggle with these kinds of things, or maybe you just want to see how it could look like without actually having to think, or maybe it's just not as clear yet, there is a portion now where I will recommend using ChatGPT. So if you do not like to work with AI, I encourage you to just do all these things yourself. But I think if it's used the right way, it's a great tool. And so here is what I would do. So again, let's say you have this vision of yourself 1 year from now. What you have to do is write it down in as much detail as you can. So what you earn, who you're with, what do you want to have achieved? Let's take the podcast thing again. I want to be a podcaster. I want to have this new habit of going to dance class every week, something like that. And then you can ask ChatGPT one of two things. Either you can ask it to create a day in your life, or just like a vision of your life in a year from now. And it's really, really fun to read what the AI is giving you, and then you can sort of turn it into a dialogue and ask about certain things like, how does this play out? Or you didn't go into that. How could another day look like if we focus on that? Or even ask it like, did I miss any important buckets of my life? Let's say I mentioned a lot of things, but it's telling me like, hey, you didn't say anything about finance. Is it not important to you? Or should we have a plan for that too? Maybe I want to pay off my student loans or something like that, and I didn't think about it. And then to make things easier for you, you can even ask the AI like, what do I need to get there? What do I have to do now? When do I have to achieve certain things? If I have this amount of hours in my week, how should I spend them? How should I spend my money? And you will probably have to give the AI a little bit more information about your life. Like if you want to work only Monday to Friday and you know you have this and this and that already scheduled, or you work part-time, you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then you probably need to tell that to the AI and then tell it what you want and what kind of obligations you have, what time is already booked. Maybe also, let's say you have to pay rent and loans and whatever, but you want to save some money. You can do all of these things yourself and calculate, or you can just give the information to the AI and get an answer back. It's probably good to split the what do I need to get there portion into business and personal, or however you want to call these things, because it's something else. If I want to be a podcaster, that's business for me. And if I want to go to dance class, that's personal. So even though I don't make money with podcasts in my imagination in 1 year, it still counts more as business for me. And you can define these categories however you like. It's also interesting to see which ideas the AI has towards optimization. You could ask it, how can I achieve X with less amount of money or in less time? Let's say, how do I get more money with less clients? So now that you know where you want to go, again, either you can do all of this yourself, or you can ask ChatGPT or another AI for this, but you should create a 12-month plan. This includes goals and metrics, like how do you want to keep track of whether or not you achieved the things that you wanted to achieve. And then find a time where you check in with yourself. This could be at the beginning of every month, or at the end of every quarter, or whatever seems to work for you. Maybe you want to track your habits on the daily. That's just not something for me. I cannot do that. Like, I'll do my habits and then I'll forget to track them and I'll feel bad just because of that. So I don't do that, but I do a monthly reset where I look at all of my goals and readjust based on things that are no longer important, for example, or not as important. Let's say a new project comes up for me, I'm going into script writing now, then maybe I want to cut back on YouTube videos. And even though in the beginning of the year I said I want to have 50 videos published, maybe in March I'll decide, okay, there's no time for me to do that. I'll aim for 25. And then that's fine to like adjust during the year. Don't stick to that. So many things happen in 1 year. And the best thing you can do is actually already schedule in time now for your resets. You could do like an hour or an afternoon, take some time, go to a coffee shop, do something nice for you. And this is also the time to celebrate your progress. Sometimes we forget to celebrate ourselves and give ourselves a little pat for all the things that we have been doing. Let's say I'll plan my next check-in at the end of March. Then I will take a whole afternoon to myself, find myself a nice coffee shop, bring my notebook and my journal, and just go over it all again. So that's how we audit and celebrate. Before we jump into the vision board part of this video, I just want to remind you of two things. One, don't forget to schedule in travel. Again, maybe you have travel plans, maybe you're more spontaneous like I am, but if you already know you have a big project coming up in April, maybe it's smart to know, okay, I will schedule my travel in May after this project is done, so I will get some downtime and I will not book last minute when things are maybe not available anymore or expensive or whatever. And if you don't know where to travel to, ask Google, ask ChatGPT. I'm sure there's a lot of places where you can find inspiration. And second, don't forget that you are doing this for you and there's no competition, there's only you. Don't compare your plans to other people's plans, and just because half of the internet wants to stand up at 5 in the morning every day in 2025, you do not have to do that. And if you break one of your good habits, it's like that. You know, we're not perfect, you're human, I'm human, we all make mistakes. It's just important that you check in with yourself every now and then and be honest with yourself. I did make a video about this last week, I guess. So definitely check that out, because you should be your own best friend. You should be a coach for yourself and not somebody who talks you down or even beats you up. So with all of the things that we have already written down, let's take a look at 3 more small inputs before you can go on Pinterest and search for all of the keywords that you probably already know. One is how you want the year to feel. This could be a word like slow, relaxed, or maybe full of action, or exciting, or busy, or whatever. This is the word that may define your new year. Then, what are you ready to let go of or make more room for? And then you can think about whether there's maybe a color or a quote or even a song that you feel like should be the vibe of your 2025. And with that, you can go on Pinterest, search for all of these beautiful pictures and put them together, or wherever you want to search. I like Pinterest. And then I do my vision boards in Canva, but I have friends who print them out and do them like physically. And that's also really nice. And just think about where you want your vision board to be. Do you want to have it printed out and you have a dedicated place on your wall each year? Or do you want to save it as your phone background or as your notebook background? Or where are you going to see it? And then make the vision board according to that size. I hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel so you will never miss an episode. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.